Hello and welcome back to another episode of Generation Films. My name is American Ben. Look, my friends. Look upon the Republic at the fall of the Jedi. Look at it. It is dead. And there from its embers arises the Empire, that in the shadow of darkness, the galaxy should make its home in the cosmos. Civilizations crumble, tyrants prosper where people suffer, and hope is lost to memory, growing fainter by the day as images of injustice pervade the mind. This is where, in the bustling market of Jedha City, we find Chirrut Imwe, sectary of the Guardians of the Wills, an order of spiritual warrior monks who swear their souls to the protection of the Temple of the Kyber, a house of worship on Jedha that honors the Church of the Force. Today we tell Chirrut's story, not from beginning to end, but from heart to mind, so that we may better understand his place in the galaxy's history.
The strongest stars have hearts of Kyber.
Chirrut introduces himself as a pious man, faithful in the magic of the Kyber crystals, those Force-attuned jewels which contain great and mysterious power, that which builds lightsabers and so too Death Stars. Aye, Chirrut is strong in his belief indeed. He walks into battle the same way he would his temple, in prayer.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force. And I fear nothing, for all is as the Force wills it.
Somehow in this world stricken by madness, resolved for darkness, Chirrut is exceptionally optimistic. He's even caring.
Is your foot all right?
The element of Chirrut which might be called spiritual overwhelms his entire soul. Though where the rational does persist, fear he does to discover which fate and death presents itself, either unity in the Force or immaterium forever.
You almost shot me.
You're welcome.
Though outwardly sure in faith that blaster fire would not break his stride, in rather human fashion, he generally advances quite patiently towards death. Chirrut's rationality conflicts with the spiritual, where at one time he is stoic in the face of doom, and at others he appears less certain. For instance, Chirrut is calm as Jedha City collapses, his faith holding steady amidst the unknown. And yet as he descends onto Edu, he prays with worry in his eyes. His emotions vary given similar threats. But why? Well, we'll return to this question later. The other side of Chirrut is Baze Malbus. Baze too was a guardian of the Wills, devoted to the temple.
Baze Malbus was once the most devoted guardian of us all.
However, with the Empire's rise and occupation of Jedha, he loses his faith. Many who witness brutality in the galaxy grow cynical in this way. How can one believe in the supreme virtue of the Force when injustice prospers? Baze has watched Imperial forces terrorize the innocent, the helpless, his brothers, his sisters, and no power of the Force provides refuge from such evils.
See a Jedi?
There are no Jedi here anymore. Only dreamers like this fool.
He is bitter where Chirrut is merry, practical where Chirrut is idealistic, rational where Chirrut is spiritual. It is to him foolish to pray before the Force, because belief will get you killed.
I'm one with the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force,
Really?
the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force.
He's praying for the door to open.
It bothers him because he knows it's possible.
Baze transforms from adherent to heretic, from guard to assassin, as he infers that the Empire offers death to the pious and life to the indulgent. Faith is rarely compatible with survival. More often, it is compatible with salvation. Baze, by way of experience, becomes wholly rational and protects himself this way. He never absolutely capitulates his morality, but rather moves as the galaxy does, darkening as it grows dark. What more would be expected of the rational when tyrants reign o'er the stars? Should he be the sanguine custodian of truth and justice when the two provide no means to prosper? Looking out upon the galaxy and seeing all that is unfair, all that is wrong, all that burdens life, what method of rationality is there to see most of man but as unrestrained beasts set to their appetites, and thus conform in ways that might subvert principle, but also exact justice on the corrupt? Well, why does Chirrut keep his faith? Perhaps he is, as Baze claims, just a fool, and fools are ignorant and can bask in foolish dreams while the world before them burns. Or then, could there be a conscious will at play here that directs his obstinance to heresy?
There is more than one sort of prison, Captain. I sense that you carry yours wherever you go.
Baze allows that his world be defined by images of injustice he sees, but Chirrut does not. Why? Well, because he's blind, of course. But in no way do I intend to demean the subject here. After all, his lack of sight suggests he has good reason to be aggrieved. Yet that he cannot see at all, that he is imprisoned in darkness, is a fact that forces him to have faith in what he cannot see. He must rely on the word of others and imagine what is, rather than witness what is.
All of it? The whole city? Tell me.
All of it.
The blind are naturally faithful. Chirrut is keen to the fact of suffering in the galaxy, but so too to the notion that one cannot hope to control all things. Such is a futile endeavor. One can, however, choose to control his own mind. Though it might be hard, with practice, dreams become the key which can liberate tried souls. Chirrut's belief in the Force makes all material attachments of little worth to him. He is unchained to reality, and thus to the suffering it begets. But it is important to recognize that at times Chirrut is palpably fearful. He is human, and as such he is no master over himself. He is imperfect in his faith. This means that when learning of injustice is committed, when fearful, when tempted to indulge emotion, he makes a conscious choice to reject such impulses and maintain his belief in the goodness of and very existence of the Force. And in this way he has a very Jedi-like mentality, sans the child abuse and terrorism. Images of death and destruction taint Baze's mind and take from him his faith.
It wasn't too late.
Seems pretty late to me.
No. We can beat the people who did this.
It's hard to blame him, where so many, most probably, resort to cynicism and doubt in the face of life's trials. But Chirrut, even in experiencing the annihilation of Jedha in the temple with it, chooses to retain his optimism about people, the Force, and the future.
You don't believe me?
I'm not the one you gotta convince. I believe her.
He controls his mind, restrains himself from subjugation to his thoughts, and continues down the path of his choosing, that which meets the requirements of his faith.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna follow Jin. Her path is clear.
But as we said, faith is not compatible with survival. It is compatible with salvation. No rational and willing person would likely expose themselves upon a battlefield beset with blaster fire, for death is rather permanent, and an unwieldy price to pay for even freedom, as most of history informs us.
I'm one with the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me.
Sometimes it takes the spiritual to do what must be done to save the Republic. One might be inclined to think of Obi-Wan here, who gives his life to the Force that his friends might escape the Death Star. Chirrut is so devout in his belief, he doesn't even need the power of the Force to accomplish valiance. He does not require physical experience of the Force to believe in it, and thus, because he does not need it, he is not provided with it. Neither blindness nor suffering nor evil can penetrate his spirit, nor turn him into the bitter man the world desires he become. He fears death as a new experience, but he chooses to accept it, overcome it, embrace it, that he might render its threat, and so to that of tyrants, powerless. And in this way, in his unrelenting piety, in his refusal to break, I like to imagine that some small remnant of faith in Baze is ignited, as the optimism of one inspires the same in another.
Good luck! I don't need luck. I have you!
Moment by moment, action by action, Baze sees Chirrut's faith persist where his dies away. Bitterness and hope are both the same in communicability, and where light exists nowhere, everything is condemned to last in darkness. But where in one man alone it carries on, another might find it, and so it spreads.
The Force is with me. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. I'm one with the Force.
If Chirrut gives up, Baze by way of transference shall yield alike. And thus, in remaining ill with hope amidst impossibly dark times, he infects Baze with salvation. Though soon after regaining his faith, Baze dies with it. Should that be a desirable end, to perish with one's soul intact? Or to live on subjugated to injustice? I suppose Chirrut and Baze together are a single person in a sense, such that the neutral mind can be pulled one way or another according to how it allows events in the world to affect it. Does man turn bitter at the terrible sights he sees? Does he acquiesce to that voice inside his head that tells him he is helpless? Or does he hold on to his most optimistic beliefs, to his greatest ethics, to ultimate compassion, even in his darkest times, and risk dying a spiritual man, yet uncompromised in his principles and free in his dreams? The question is no simple quandary, where some form of balance might provide an answer. But one tends to wonder if when darkness falls and devils flourish, could a rebellion not yet triumph, should there be just a single man with hope remaining in the Force, and an unbroken will carrying on in the mode of justice?
It's okay. It's okay. Look for the Force.
Chirrut.
You will always find me.
And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I've always wanted to do a video on Chirrut and Baze. If you did like it, please do give it a big thumbs up. Remember to comment down below. Let me know what you think about all of this. Remember to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. For now, my name is American Ben, and I'll catch you next time. Generation Films, peace.